We're going to start standing on the mat. So get yourself into a good standing posture, having your feet hip width apart. And we'll always at the beginning of the class, we just spend a minute or two just trying to bring our focus into our body, being aware of any pockets of tension and then just releasing those. So we start any exercise from a relaxed body and a relaxed mind. So trying to get rid of any tension in our mind. So bringing the focus onto our bodies helps us do that. So with the feet, they feel nice and flat. No, you're not turned out on the outside edge of the foot, all turned in, and you've got the same amount of weight through the heel and the front of the foot. Sometimes just gently rocking forward onto the front without lifting the heel, and then rocking back onto your heel without lifting your toes gives you that subtle sense of awareness of where the position of your feet is. And then you want to settle so that you have that awareness of the central arch of your foot. You're right in the middle, even connection between the front of the foot and the heel. And have that sense of lengthening up through the inside arch, through the inside knee, all the way up the inside leg, connecting with the pelvic floor. The knees are not bent, but they're not locked. So it's almost like if someone said run, you could just run like that. If they're locked, you're stuck. So pelvis in neutral, no tension in the buttocks, but make a gentle connection with the pelvic floor and the lower abdominal. And have that sense of length in the spine, both through the front of the spine, front of the body, and at the back of the body. Shoulders relaxing down into your back, they're not shoved down there. Arms gently lengthening by your side without any tension in your hands. Have this sense of openness across the front of the shoulders. So you're not shoving the shoulder blades back, you're just lengthening the two ends of the collarbone out to the side walls. Your neck lengthening away from the shoulders and your head as if it's just balancing on top of your spine. So no tension in your face, especially your jaw. And a couple of deep breaths here, getting your breath into the base of the rib cage, so you get a deeper breath than just your upper chest. And as you breathe out, still keep that sense of length in your spine. You don't sink in as you breathe out, so breathing in and breathing out, keeping nice and tall. So keeping this sense of focus and relaxation and length in the spine, we're going to start gently rotating the spine. You don't have to rotate too far to begin with. We'll start by lifting the heel and rotating through the toes. Let the arms just hang, looking over one shoulder and then the other. And as you start to loosen up, you can start to make the rotation slightly stronger or slightly further, but still lifting your spine away from the pelvis. So let's change to rotating through the heel. So you're lifting the toes to one side and then the other side. Just letting the arms hang and swing around your back. Keeping long in the spine, still keep that gentle core connection. That lower abdominal muscle attaches to your lower back and helps protect that lower back. And then we'll start to slow it down. You can either rotate through the heel or through the toes, but as you're rotating, always bending that knee and never just come to a full stop, just slowly come back to the center. And still. So now we're going to do, we haven't done this for a while in this class, we're going to do our roll downs going into plank with an option of doing a few press-ups if you wish. If you wish to just hold your plank, count to how many counts you feel comfortable, and then you can always maintain that level or maybe a little bit more. So we're going to do a straight roll down to begin with, and then we'll add 3 where we do the plank with press-ups. So still in your good standing posture, breathing in to lengthen through your spine. Starting your roll down from the very top of your neck. And then your upper back, just let your head hang, let your arms hang. Don't have to close in across the front of the shoulders or bring the shoulders up to your ears. Keep the weight through the center of your feet and roll down as far as your legs and your back allow. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths, focusing that breath into the back of your rib cage, keeping the shoulders out of the equation. And then when you're ready to come up, scooping in your core, getting your pelvis all the way back to neutral. That analogy that if you've got headlamps on the hip bones, they're shining straight ahead. So we'll add the plank and a few press-ups if you wish. So breathing in to lengthen through your spine. And then rolling the neck down. If you don't do the whole roll down on the out breath, just breathe, just keep relaxed, keep your face soft. At the bottom of each roll down, stay here for a breath before you walk yourself out into the plank. Try to minimize the swaying as you walk yourself into the plank. You want to bring your shoulders above the wrists. Keep your tummy pulled in, your neck in line with your back, and then add press-ups if you wish, just a few. Then come into a long downward dog, getting your heels to the mat or towards the mat, your head towards the mat, your hips up in the air, flattening out the back as much as you can. And then walk your hands back to position for your walking on the spot. So starting on tiptoes and then bending one knee as the other heel reaches the mat, or reaches as near to the mat as you can, and then you come onto tiptoes with straight legs before you swap over. So if you're very tight in the calves, you might want to bring your hands a little bit nearer towards your feet. And if you're not very tight and you want a bit more of a challenge, then your hands further away. And do about 8 of these, so you'll get 4 stretches on each foot and ankle. Get a nice stretch through the calf, through the Achilles. And when you've done your walking on the spot, come onto tiptoes and see how far you can get both heels towards the mat before you walk your hands back to your feet with as little swaying in the body as possible. Then you can hold on behind your legs and draw your body towards your legs. And then let your arms just hang down, scoop in your core, working from the pelvis. Pelvis all the way back into neutral, and then the rest of the spine just floats on up. So we'll do 2 more like that. If you added press-ups on one of them and you don't want to on the others, then that's entirely up to you. Just go according to how you feel. Some days you have more energy than others, and just listen to your body and do it at a level that you find enjoyable. And we stay for a nice deep in-breath the bottom of our roll down before we walk out into the plank. Getting the shoulders over the wrists, tummy in, shoulders away from the ears, and then if you want to add the press-ups, add the press-ups. And then coming into your long downward dog. Before you walk your hands back to wherever you want them for your walking on the spot. So really seeing if you can get the heel to touch the mat. Keep the hips level, so as you bend one knee, you don't let that hip drop down. Make sure you come back to straight legs on both legs before you swap over. When you finish, see how far you can get both heels to the mat, stretching your bottom in the air, your head to the mat before you walk your hands all the way back. Let's do another flat back stretch. Each time getting your body a little bit nearer to your legs, and then relaxing your arms. Keep the head hanging so you get that full stretch through the back of the neck and your upper back. And let's do one more. Breathing in to lengthen through your spine. Starting your roll down on the out breath. Just isolate that neck to begin with, and then keep your head nice and heavy. Keep your core engaged, so you keep your weight through the center of your foot. You're not going back onto your heels. Staying for an in-breath, feeling really grounded through the heels and lengthening your buttocks away from the heels before you walk yourself into your plank. And then by the third time, you might not want to do press-ups. If you do, go ahead. And come into your downward dog, stretching. And you'll find hopefully by the third one, your head's a little bit nearer to the mat and you're less tight in the back. Come back to your position for your walking on the spot. We're going to do extra hamstring stretches on this one when you get to walking your hands back to your feet. So if you've got there already, don't roll yourself up just yet. So we'll do a flat back stretch first. And now we'll do our extra hamstring stretches. So bend your knees so more of your hand can reach the mat than can otherwise do. So keep your hands in that new position. See how much you can open behind the knees. Gently easing everything open. Don't snap at anything. Let's do about 5 of these. And then roll yourself up. Good, nice way to get ourselves loosened up, warmed up, a little bit of strength work there. So we're going to come onto the mat and we're going to come onto the side lying position and we're going to do our side leg exercises. So take your little 1-inch head cushion. If you haven't got the normal Pilates cushions, what you're looking, and you're just using a cushion from your sofa or something, you want to make sure that your head, you want to put the cushion between your arm and your ear. What you're trying to avoid is your head falling down like that. So you're trying to keep the neck in line with the rest of your spine. So on this one, you have 2 leg positions to choose from, either into a chair position or start with your legs straight in line with your body, and then you hinge from these hip creases to draw your legs at 45 degrees. So if you find this is harder, then go to the first one, the side chair position. So the top leg is in line with the spine, so the spine is quite a long way behind at hip height. Reach your way through the heel and you feel this bottom waist lifting off the mat, and at no point do you let that sink in. So you keep the sense of length in the leg as you lift it up. Get to where you think is your top and then go a tiny bit further, lengthening away through the heel. It's like you're trying to get the heel to reach towards that end wall as much as you possibly can. Get to the top and a little bit further. And keep lengthening away as you bring the leg down. So I've got my hand between the mat and the waist. So I can check that I'm not putting any pressure on the hand. And that comes from lengthening the leg, stretching it away from the hip, all the way as you lift it up and as you lower it to hip height. Let's do 4 more. The rest of the body stays absolutely still. This top hip doesn't rock back in any way, so keep making sure that it's facing absolutely at the front. And 1 more after this. up and up a bit more, and that's when you start to feel it in that buttock. So from hip height, we're going to bring our leg forward. Don't try and go too far forward. We want to keep a straight body. We don't want to start going into a banana shape with our body. So if you hinge from this hip joint here, just bring the leg forward, reaching away through the heel, and then point the foot and draw the leg back in line with the spine. Always go so you have that sense of openness across the front of the hip here. So you bring your leg forward, reaching through the heel, and then you point and draw the leg back. But the body stays exactly the same. So keep long in the body. So if you start to feel like you're bending or creasing in the body, don't take your leg any further forward. So just go a little bit in front and then point. We'll do 2 more after this. So you're reaching away through the heel, getting a nice stretch in the hamstring, and then you're drawing back, opening out across the front of this hip. So now you come back in line with the spine and then take the leg further behind you. And then go down to the mat and up to hip height. Behind and up. Again, keep this top hip forward. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's have a little rest, just for a couple of breaths to give yourself a rub wherever you can feel that. And then we'll do the circle. So back to starting at hip height in line with the spine, and do some circles like you're going around a football. So it's between the hip and the mat, but scoop the underneath part of that ball. Let's do 5 in each direction. Again, the body stays still and only the leg that's moving. 4, 5, and then reverse. So you go as far behind the body. Only if you come in front of the body, it's just a touch. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now bend your knee onto the mat in front and lengthen your underneath leg roughly in line with your spine. It's not so critical. Again, lengthen the underneath leg just off the mat and turn the leg so the knee is going up towards the ceiling. Keep the leg straight and then lift using all your inner thigh muscles until you get your upper inner thighs to squeeze together. We're going to do 8 with the foot pointed and 8 with the foot flexed. It doesn't matter which order. You're using all the muscles from the inside of the knee all the way up the inside thigh. 5, and this is also a really good exercise for the knee. Works that inner quad muscle that sometimes gets a bit weak and cause knee problems. So when you change, then still keep that knee turned up towards the ceiling. It's only a touch, it's not very much. But you just get that inner thigh muscle more accurately if you do that. 5, 6, don't transfer any weight into this top knee. You're isolating that underneath leg. 7, and squeeze 8. And then you come into chair position for our side quad stretch. So bring your knee up to your chest, reach the front of your ankle, heel towards your buttock. And as you take the knee away from you, you're not arching the back. So keep the tummy in, hips forward, and just take the leg back. If you're very tight, then you hold it for a few breaths, release it, and then take it back in again. I seem to be quite tight here this morning. So think about lengthening your bent knee away from you. Reaching away so you get that extra stretch all the way up the front of the thigh, into the front of the hip. Hips coming forward, help you do that. And then release. So let's flip over onto the other side. Take time to get yourself set up. So choose your starting position with your legs, either inside chair or at 45 degrees. As you get into that position, make sure this top hip isn't rolled back. It's right, got this nice plumb line here, straight down to the floor. Then take the top leg back in line with the spine at hip height. Flex the foot and reach away through the heel and create this space between the mat and your waist. And then take the leg up, reaching away, get to the top and a tiny bit more, reach away as you come back to hip height. So make sure the leg doesn't start creeping forward. So if you're not feeling it, take the leg a little bit further behind you. 3, 4, 5, up, 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 6. It's when you do that extra little bit, that's when you really feel it in the buttocks. 7, up, 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 and 8. So back to hip height. Keep this long body, keep the tummy pulled in. Hinge from this hip here. Bring the leg forward with a flexed foot. Point the foot and draw the leg behind. Flex to come forward, keeping long in the body, reaching the heel away from the buttock, and then use the hamstring to draw the leg back. Do 6 of these. So if you start to feel that your body is going into a banana, then don't take the leg so far forward. So you're getting a nice stretch through the hamstring here as you reach through the heel. And we'll do one more. So take it back in line with the spine and then take the leg behind, but you're not bringing your body forward at that stage, just the leg. And then down to the mat and up to hip height. We're going to do 10 of these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just have a little rest, just to give yourself a bit of a breather. Let's give yourself a nice little rub. And then we're going to do the circles. So keeping this top hip forward, you're going to do 5 in each direction. Again, the body stays still. You're going around your imaginary football, scooping the mat on the underneath part of the ball, taking the leg as far behind you as you can. Once you've done 5 in that direction, and then do 5 in the other direction. So hardly coming in front of the body, nearly all of it is behind the body. 3, 4, and 5. And now bend your knee onto the mat, gives you a nice stretch here. Lengthen your underneath leg roughly in line with the spine. Turn the leg just up towards the ceiling, the knee up towards the ceiling, and lengthen the leg off the mat. And then do your inner thigh lift. So you're never letting the leg rest on the mat until you've finished your 8 of each. 8 with the foot pointed, 8 with the foot flexed. Without transferring weight to your top knee, you're just using the inner thigh muscles and the inner knee muscle. And try and get that squeeze in the top of your inner thighs. When you change foot positions, make sure your knee is still turned up towards the ceiling. 2, 3. So do 8 of these. Squeezing at the top. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. And then come into your side chair position for your side quad stretch. Bring the knee up to the chest, reach the front of the ankle. Bring the heel to your buttock and then lengthen the leg away without arching the back. So you're just taking the leg away, but the tummy in and hips stay forward. Keep lengthening the bent knee away from you. Keep bringing the hips forward. And then you get the stretch a little bit further up the quad, the front of the thigh. Keep the shoulders relaxed and keep breathing into this stretch. Another breath here, and then release. Okay, so let's come to sitting, and then we are going to come onto all fours. We're going to do threading the needle. I think this is the only exercise we're doing on in 4-point kneeling today. So remember, the hips stay above the knees, tummy stays in, shoulders stay away from your ears. So transfer your weight to your left hand and put the back of your right hand on the mat. Run it through the inside of your left wrist. Keep the back of the hand on the mat, then the back of the forearm. And as you draw your arm away, it's drawing your right shoulder around. Stay here for a full breath. Don't reach too far on the first one on each side. And then use your body to bring your arm back. So it's initiated from the body. Once your spine is back in the center, bring this arm up to the ceiling. And then bring your wrist and arm back under your shoulder. So transfer your weight into your right hand, the back of your left hand, on the mat inside your right wrist. Keep the hand and then the forearm on the mat. Everything else just happens. So this gives you a nice stretch in your back. You find that you're dipping down, but you haven't actually dipped down. It's just by drawing your shoulder through, it's made the body come nearer to the floor. Stay for a breath in the threading the needle, then use the core to draw the body back. Once the spine is in the center, you bring this arm up to the ceiling. The shoulders stay away from the ears and the hips stay above the knees, so you're not dropping behind. And alternate the sides and do 3. You'll do 3 on each side, so that's 6 in total. And after the first one, you can try and reach a bit further away. It's like you're trying to reach something under the bed, but only if that's not too strong in your back and the back of your shoulder. Always stay for a breath to allow your body to adapt, the muscles to adapt to that position. And now you're opening your front of your body as you bring your arm up to the ceiling. See if you can look towards your fingertips that are up at the ceiling. And then bring your hand and arm back under your shoulder. So the only thing you have to think about is keeping the back of your arm on the mat and the floor, and everything else just happens. As you come back to the center, then your supporting arm just automatically straightens. So when you take your arm up to the ceiling, your supporting arm should be straight. And I've got one more on each side. Each time reaching a tiny bit further. So it's a nice way of getting rotation in the spine. And last time on this side. To the ceiling. And then either, if your knees are bad, you can come onto your back and hug your knees into your shoulders, or come into your rest position, feet together, knees apart. If you have your arms long above your head without your elbows on the mat, you get a really good stretch in your mid-back. Breathe into your back of your rib cage here to feel your ribs expand and gently stretching those muscles where the ribs are attached to the spine, and then either sitting on your heels or come into high kneeling, restack your spine nice and tall. So we'll come onto the mat now and take your ball, your little mini stability ball, and we're going to do some leg circles. Get if you have a head cushion, get your whatever head cushions you need. Again, the cushions are there to stop your head from falling back. So come to sitting, and then of course roll your spine back down. I've just got to adjust my microphone a bit because it's digging into me here. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put the ball under my right leg. So extend your right leg on the mat and put the ball right under the knee. The heel of the right heel should just be relaxed on the mat as well, but there's just a gentle connection of the back of the right knee into the ball, and the right leg is still in line with my right hip. Pelvis stays in neutral, and do a single knee fold on the left-hand side. Put your fingers on the inside of the hip bones here, because this, as well as mobilizing the hip socket, you're using your core to stay in neutral, so your pelvis isn't tipping left to right. And then point your left foot up to the ceiling, and you get this nice stretch through the back of the leg. So you can either keep the leg straight, or if that's too strong for you, you can have it slightly bent. But we're going to do 6 leg circles in each direction. Take the leg across the body, down, out, up, and back to its starting position. But as you take the leg away from you, keep the other hip down so you're not losing neutral. So it's a strong core muscle exercise as well. So you can either make the circles big, or if you find you're losing neutral, make them smaller. And when you've done 6 in one direction, do 6 in the other. Try and keep any tension out of your thigh. It's just a nice, relaxing, mobilizing movement. The hip socket getting nicely mobilized. So it's like you're stirring your thigh bone in the hip socket. And then when you've done that, come back into a knee fold, hug your knee into your chest. So 6 in each direction, as big or little circles as you wish. Still use your core, drop your foot back onto the mat, and then let's swap over. So push the ball under your left knee. Just glance up, just check that leg is in line with the hip. It hasn't gone outside. The heel relaxing on the mat, and then come into a knee fold on the right-hand side and point your right foot up to the ceiling. So let's do our 6 circles on this leg. Again, you can make the circles as big or as little as you wish. The idea is that you stay and maintain neutral pelvis, keeping the leg relaxed, but the core is working quite strongly. If you get any clonking going in your hip, you might want to make the circle a bit smaller. As long as it's not hurting you, it's fine, just doesn't sound very nice. And then you reverse the circle. Just take the leg across the body as far as you can. It's easy to maintain neutral in that position. It's harder when you take the leg away from you. Lots of clonking going on in this hip. I'll do one more circle, and then bend the knee and hug into your chest. And then always using the core, drop your foot back on the mat, scoot the ball up towards you, and then place, if you're using the ball for your core work, put it under the pelvis now. So if you're using the ball, when you get on the ball, it should be sufficient that you don't feel very vulnerable in your lower back, but you're not tipping your pelvis. So tuck the pelvis around a touch and still keep using this lower abdominal. So get yourself nice and stable here. You can either have one arm around your waist, or both arms around your waist, or both arms on the mat. It's entirely up to you. And come into your double knee fold using your core. Whoops, not being very stable this morning. Okay, so take your time to use your core, switch it on, get nice and stable. And then flex your feet, and we're going to do heel taps. So dropping the heel down. Remember, you're hinging from your hip socket. You're not just dropping the heel to the floor. So you're sort of going in a little bit of an arc. So let's do 10 of these, alternating. Don't do 5 on one side and 5 on the other. Make sure there's no arching in the back. And when you've done 10 of these, again, I can't count, I'll just do one more on each side. Then we're going to do the leg up to the ceiling, point 1 foot up to the ceiling and lower that leg. It only needs to go a little bit, or you can go further. The other leg stays in its single knee fold position. Up to the ceiling, either the straight leg, or you can bend that leg back into its position. And again, 10 of these as well. Really stretch behind the knee. Sometimes it takes a while to get the core muscle working properly. So if you find you're losing your balance, then just stop, get your core centered again, and continue. If you let go of your core, you will start wobbling. I'll do one more on each side. Last one coming up. And then when you've done your 10, use your core to come out of your double knee fold. Then lift the pelvis, take the ball away and curl your spine back onto the mat. And then come to sitting. Either lengthen your legs away and put your hands on your thighs to come to sitting, or if you've got back problems, come onto your side, rolling yourself up in a curve and sitting tall. We're going to do the obliques from this sitting position. So bend your knees. Your feet aren't, you have got more weight going through your heel on this one, so it doesn't matter even if your toes are off, that doesn't matter at all, but keep the knees hip width apart. So with the obliques, we're working the muscles around the waist and the rib cage. So cross your arms over, keep the shoulders down. Whenever you've got your arms in this position, have that sense of your top arm pressing slightly on your underneath arm and the underneath arm pressing slightly up on the top arm, and then that just sort of keeps your shoulders nice and stabilized and you feel a little bit more secure. So we're going to sit tall, breathe in. As you breathe out, tuck the pelvis under and roll back to a particular position. Whatever you do, when you're in this position, don't start to straighten out your back. So keep this tummy pulled in and keep this little curve in your back. And then you're rotating from the waist and the rib cage around one side, but this far hip is staying down, and then you come back to the center, and then you rotate to the other side. And as you come back to the center, don't slightly curl back up again. So let's do 3 each side. So once you're in this rollback position, you're staying in this rollback position. Each time you can go a little bit further if you wish, but nothing else changes. You're just using the muscles around the rib cage, and then you can stay in this curve as you roll yourself up back to your starting position. So swap your arms around, still keep this pressing down and pressing up, and we're going to do another oblique one slightly adapted. So curl yourself back to a position. Actually, no, sorry, come back up to the starting position. I'm going to do this slightly differently. So start your rotation first. So you're rotating, so you're just on the outside of one thigh, and then tuck your pelvis under, come back, stay in this back position as you come back to the center, and then rotate the other way, and now you can come on up, keeping in the curve until you're right back on your sit bones. And then stay over this way, try and keep your arms horizontal, tuck your pelvis under as you roll yourself back, slightly rotated, come back to the center, rotate this way, and then roll yourself up. Stay on the outside here, so sit tall, tuck your pelvis under, try and keep your thighs relaxed, curl back. You can curl back a lot or not very much. Stay in this position as you come back to the center, go the other way, and then come back up again. Just one more down and up, tuck your pelvis under, roll yourself back, staying turned on one side, come back to the center, rotate the other way, through the waist and the rib cage, remember, and then come back up and sit nice and tall. Straighten your legs and give them a nice little shake. So come onto one side. We're going to do a side lift. So you want to have your right on your side, your underneath supporting arm, the heel of the hand is in line with your hip, and the soles of your feet are in line with your spine. But you don't want your legs too close, so you can have your legs reasonably extended. So it can be 90 degrees or a little bit more behind the knee. So remember, we're going to use these muscles underneath our waist. Start with this hand on the top knee, and we're going to keep the knees on the mat and just lift here. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, lift that bottom hip, the knees stay on the mat, and bring this arm over your head. Stay here for a full breath, being really strong in your supporting arm, and then use those underneath waist muscles to control coming back down. Breathing in, and then lift the hips up, arm over the top of the head, strong in your supporting arm, and lift a little bit more if you can, and then use all your abdominal muscles so you don't just collapse back onto the mat. We're going to do 5 on each side. Breathing in and lift, breathing out. Stay here for an in-breath, lifting a little bit more from the hips if you can, reaching this arm long over your head, and then control coming back down. And then 2 more, lift and stretch, lift, 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 lift. Come back down, and 1 more, last one on this side. And come back down. Good, swing your legs around the other side. Let's take a moment to get set up properly. So my supporting hand, the heel of the hand is in line with this underneath hip. My legs are lengthened away. The soles of the feet are in line with my spine. And I'm facing the front and keeping nicely engaged here. So my top arm is on my top leg. So hopefully you're all in position now. So let's do 5 on this side. So breathing in, and then lift your hip using the underneath abdominal muscles. Reach this arm long over your head. Lift the hips a little bit higher, and then control coming back down. So as you come back down, you don't suddenly find you sunk. So keep lifted here. So breathing in and out. Stay here, take a breath in, lifting, lifting, lifting. And come back down. Breathing in and breathing out. And lift. And back down with control. Still keeping lifted on the underneath waist and body. Lift a little bit more. And down, and we'll do 1 more. Breathing in and breathing out. And then come back down. And then swing your legs round and come off your side. So let's do some wrist circles just in case you feel any tension in your wrists. So in both directions, and then you can squeeze your hands and flick your fingers. Okay, we're going to lie on our mat, and we're going to do the windows, and then we're going to do the leg stretches with the band. So have the band to hand before you get down so that it's easy to find when you need it. Now, actually, what you could do, if we've done this exercise before, if you want an extra stretch and you've got your light weights to hand, not too heavy weights, then you get a slightly stronger stretch. But if you have any issues in your shoulders at all uncomfortable, then don't use the weights. So get yourself into the relaxation position. Always thinking about our alignment. It's just part of what we do in Pilates. And then with the shoulder blades still on the mat, bring your arms above your chest. Not above the shoulders, but just above the chest. Palms are facing your feet. And as I say, your shoulder blades haven't been pulled away from the mat, so they're settled on the mat. And then simply bend the elbows away from each other and coming down. If you can get them on the floor, then great. So make sure, just very quick checkpoints here, that your rib cage is on the mat, that you haven't slightly arched your back in order to get your elbows on the floor, that if you glance either side, your palms are still facing your feet and your forearm is directly above your elbow. You haven't brought your hands in. So keeping the elbows where they are, again without arching the back, just rotate your arms so the back of your forearm is going as near to the floor as you can, and then you straighten your arms behind your head. I've got too many things near me, and then bring them back above your chest. So this movement here is stretching the elbows away from each other, and then you get this rotation here, which gives you a nice stretch across the front of the chest. And then you take your arms above your head, straightening your arms as near to your ears as possible, and then bring your arms above your chest. So if you want to do the breathing, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and out to come back to the starting position. So let's do a few more of these. And if there's one part of this exercise, it's different for everyone, depending on what's going on in their shoulder socket. You can always hold it for an extra breath, just relaxing into that. And we'll do 2 more in your own time. So this is the windows exercise. Again, nothing is changing in any other part of the body. The only thing that's moving are the arms. No arching going on in the back. Just get a nice stretch. Reaching the arms as long as you can above the head. And up, and now take your arms all the way back down by your side. So now we're going to do our leg stretches of the band. So take hold of your band. We'll start with the right leg. Wrap the band around the ball of the right foot. I've just realised I haven't done the cobra. I was going to do the cobra today. So keep the pelvis nice and grounded, and have the band, one end of the band in each hand, so you've got equal tension either side of your foot, and use the band to draw your leg up above the hip. in that direction anyway. It doesn't matter if it doesn't go completely above the hip. The most important thing is that you keep straight behind the knee, you're reaching away through the heel, and you haven't lifted your buttocks or your pelvis off the mat in any way, because you're lengthening the heel away from the sit bone, which is in the center of your buttocks. So we just breathe into this for a few breaths. And now, working from the outside of your right ankle, turn the sole of your foot inwards. Keep straight behind the knee still. And then if this isn't strong enough and you want to increase the stretch, then take the leg across the body, just a few inches until you get your correct stretch. Still keep the elbows relaxed on the mat. You don't need to start creating tension in your shoulders. Keep your face soft. Keep using your breath to release any tension. And now take both ends of your band in your right hand and take your right leg out to the side away from you. You can relax your bent left knee the opposite way. So point your right foot and turn your right leg out slightly from the top of the thigh. That opens out the inside thigh. And work out where you get your best stretch, either higher but in the direction of your right shoulder, or lower, and you get a slightly different stretch further up into the pubic bone. Watch your wrist alignment on the right side, that you've got a straight line through the back of your hand and the back of your forearm. And breathe into this for a few more breaths. So you're trying to get a stretch on the inside thighs. Now, to bring that leg back above the hip, bend the knee slightly so you're arching your back. And then when the leg is back above the hip, back to straightening it again. And you can bring your left leg back up in line with the left hip. So back to a flexed right foot now, but both ends of the band in your left hand. Keep the right hip on the mat and just isolate the right leg across the body, keeping straight behind the knee. This can be a strong stretch. So just take it to a point where you can relax and breathe into this. Visualize your breath into any area of tension and visualize it releasing. And then after a couple of breaths, you can relax your bent left knee out of the way and slowly let your right hip come off, but only as far as you're keeping your right shoulder blade relaxed on the mat. So draw the shoulder away from your ears. So we'll stay here for quite a few breaths. Again, watch your wrist alignment on the left side, and you're encouraging your right foot in the direction of your left shoulder. But let the leg be relaxed in the band. Let the band support the leg. Use your breath to allow any tension to let go. Still keeping the rest of your body relaxed. Keep your face soft, your jaw relaxed. Just gentle breathing here, reaching away through the heel. Keep straight behind the knee. And now to come back to the center, bend your knee right into your chest. Use your core. Get your back on the mat so you're not arching your back in any way. And then bring your left foot up into the band and swap over in midair. Wrapping around the ball of the foot. Drop your right foot back down on the mat in line with the right hip. So back to holding the band, one end in each hand, and we're going to do the left leg. Pelvis stays grounded, straight behind your left knee, reaching away through the left heel. Use the band to gently encourage your leg further up above the hip, but still keeping your shoulders relaxed, your pelvis grounded, just lengthening your heel away from your buttock, left buttock. And now turn the sole of your foot inwards. You're getting a stretch on the outside of your left ankle. And if you want to increase this stretch, then take your leg across the body just a few inches until you get the stretch. Elbow still relaxed on the mat. Keep straight behind the knee. And now take both ends of the band in your left hand, point your left foot, and take your left leg out to the side away from you. Relax your bent right knee out in the opposite way. That really opens up the groin area. Pointing your left foot and turn your left leg out from the top of the thigh, and then experiment where you get your best stretch on the inner thigh. But watch your wrist alignment on the left, that you've got a straight line through the back of the wrist. So you have lost neutral a touch here, but having the other knee out to the other side helps lose it too much, but still keep a gentle engagement in your core here. And keep breathing into this. And now bend your left knee to bring it back above the left hip. Bring your right knee back up in line as well. Back to a flexed foot and both ends of the band in your right hand. So first of all, isolate the leg across the body without the left hip coming off. Reaching away through the heel, keeping straight behind the knee. And then you can relax your bent right knee out of the way, and now the left hip can come off, but keep the left shoulder on the mat. Watch your wrist alignment on the right hand, and we'll stay here for quite a few breaths, reaching away through your left heel, straight behind the left knee. The direction of pull is your left foot in the direction of your right shoulder. Breathe into this, let everything relax, let the band support your leg. Shoulders relaxed, face soft. And then to come back to the center, bend your knee into your chest, use your core, come back to the center and take the band away. So we'll come back up to sitting and get one more stretch over our legs. So either come onto your side or roll yourself up. Sitting tall on your sit bones before you lengthen your body over your legs. Don't know if you can hear that jet that's just gone over. But you're lengthening from the lower back. Hold on to your legs wherever you can reach and gently lengthen your body over your legs. Keep straight behind your knees. Reach away through the heels. And breathe into the back of your rib cage here. A couple of nice deep breaths here. A really nice expansion at the back of the rib cage without the shoulders coming into the equation. And then walk your hands back up your legs and restack your spine and sit nice and tall. Well done, everyone. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that.